Hello, hi Zishan. Hello. Is my video still lagging? All right. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. अरे यार. Yeah, give me a minute. I'm gonna share my screen first, and then share the link to your quizzes. All right. Check it out. Moving on to the first passage, which talks about. Hello, people. I'm so sorry. Give me a minute. I have to shift to another place because of some issues there. So I am currently shifting to a new place, and I'll just turn on audio and video in a minute. Okay. Yeah. Take it. The first passage talks about we cannot see it. The first passage talks about climate change impact on small what? Small island developing states. All right. So yeah, the first passage talks about climate change impact on small island developing states. SIDS are highly exposed to hurricanes and other extreme weather events, which are becoming more frequent and more intense due to climate change impacts, causing significant loss and damage to people, infrastructure, and crops. From 1970 to 2020, SIDS lost US $153 billion due to weather extremes, a significant amount relative to the average GDP for SIDS, which is 13.7 billion US. These impacts are increasingly driving displacement, with small islands state in the Caribbean and South Pacific being disproportionately affected relative to their population size. These countries with extensive marine and coastal zones, sea level rise is also a huge threat to SIDS populations, economic activities, and culture, with very small islands and atolls seeing their progress and development. I hope the passage is clear. Let's move to the first question. And your first question is at UNFCC dash in Sharm el Sheikh, a new loss and damage fund was created for climate vulnerable nations. Options COP15, COP16, COP22 or 27. Correct answer is option D, COP27. Um, UNFCCC COP27 में ये हुआ था. All right. Let's move to the next question. The question is, wait, at the UNCED SIDS were formally recognized as a special case due to the unique challenges. Options 1986, 1992, 1997 or 2001. The correct answer very good is option B, 1992 where they were recognized as the special and the most vulnerable ones. Okay, let's move to the next question. The question is Cyclone Dash in 2016 caused extreme flooding in Fiji, resulting in the loss of 44 lives and significant economic disruptions. Wait, can you see the question, everyone? Or is it not visible? If anybody could confirm that. Because I think there are some network issues. Okay, is my screen visible? Your screen visible भी बंद हो गया है. The screen is not visible. I think it is now, and your options are. The question is Cyclone Dash in Dash caused extensive flooding in Fiji, resulting in the loss of 44 lives and significant economic disruptions. Options Francis in 2011, Washington in 2009, Cyclone Winston in 2016, or none of the above. Correct, very good. The correct answer is option C, Cyclone Winston in 2016. Let's move to the next question. And your question is the Barbados Programme of Action in Dash established the UN Global Conference on Sustainable Development held at Barbados in 1994 addresses certain problems. So when was yeah, why aren't the question loading? So when was this plan of action formed? In what year? Options 1994, 1997, 2005, or 2009. The correct answer is option A, 1994. Very good. Conference भी 1994 में हुई थी. And also the plan of action was also formed in 1994. Let's move to the next question. And your question is Dash is a global partnership launched in 2019 under the Government of India with support from the UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction. Options IRAF, SAMOA, CDRI, or AOSIS. Correct answer is option C, CDRI. ठीक है, essentially. Um, Also, an urgency for a Marshall Plan scale response was also recently established because given the severity of the impact and the consequences of the events, the fund should be designed. The help fund should be designed with the ambition and scale of a modern Marshall Plan. Marshall Plan मुझे कोई बता सकता है कब आया था? Anyone? मीनवाइल ये जो ऑप्शंस हैं ना आप लोग के इसमें जो ऑप्शन डी है आपका AOSIS or the Alliance of Small Island States. This is an intergovernmental organization that advocates for small island nations and influences इनकी international policies and climate change policies. ठीक है. Moving to the CDRI one. CDRI essentially a coalition for disaster resilient infrastructure, and this is a global partnership launched 2019. Government of India, UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction. This is to boost infrastructure resilience and advancement of the infrastructure development of the country and disaster risks, and to promote sustainable development. Okay. What seems well UPSC level. And then moving on to the next, which is SAMOA, which is the Small Island Developing Accelerated Modalities of Action Pathway. ठीक है, SAMOA ये 2014 में आया था and ये स्मॉल आइलैंड्स की थर्ड कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई थी उसमें आया था 2014 में and to address the challenges be those economic challenges or essential developmental challenges faced by the small island developing countries, and this was also made to support their development and also for international trade resilience and cooperation. Yeah. And the next one is Infrastructure Resilience Accelerator Fund, or the IRAF. And this was founded with the backing of the UNDP and the IRAF fund, which is about USD 50 million. This supports disaster resilience and this focuses on development of countries. Essentially, सारी same ही काम करती है, but सब अलग अलग बनी. Let's move to the leaderboard. The doctor very good यार. मार्शल प्लान स्केल का हेल्प फंड इन लोगों ने रेजिलियंस फंड की मांगा है. बताओ फिर मार्शल प्लान कब आया था? While the next passage talks about the Sendai framework and India's commitment to DRR, um, on disaster resilient infrastructure, he spoke about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's global initiative of Coalition for Disaster Resilience Infrastructure, which now has Dash member countries and 7 international organizations as members. The Indian delegation also participated in Troika meeting with the ministers of Brazil and South Africa. It also held bilateral meetings with the ministers from Brazil and other countries, namely Japan, Norway, South Africa, South Korea. I hope I'm making sense. Let's move to the first question of the passage. And your first question is, what is one? How many member countries are there in the CDRI apart from the 7 organizations? Options: 18 countries, 27, 40, or 56 member countries. The correct answer is option C, 40 member countries. It has 40 member countries. Okay, let's move to the next question. And your question is the Sendai Framework, a UN agreement, was adopted in the year dash. Options: 2021, 2015, 2019, or 2022. The correct answer is option B, 2015. Alright, let's move to the next question. The question is, how many countries signed R? No, this is not relevant to us. The question is, in Dash, the first World Conference on Natural Disaster Reduction was held in Japan, Yokohama. Options: 1905, 1918, 1957, or 1994. The correct answer option D, 1994 में पहली कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई थी नेचुरल डिजास्टर रिडक्शन. Alright. Hi, I'm so sorry about that. Uh, we missed the question. The question was, the NDMA was formally constituted in September of the year dash in accordance with the Disaster Management Act of 2005. So eventually, the act was passed in the year 2005, and this was made in the year 2006, September 27th. All right. What do you mean by the place? Moving to the next question, which is, NDMA of 2016 was world's first. This question is wrong. The NDMP, the National Disaster Management Plan, was released in the year 2016, was the world's first ever national plan. Arey, The question is wrong. Why would you guys even choose an option? And the revised version of the NDMP was released in 2019. Next question. Dash is likely to have the greatest exposure of any nation in the world to extreme weather and natural disasters by 2030. Options: India, Japan, Thailand, Malaysia, or India. Your correct answer is option D. India is going to have the greatest consequence, suffered on the exposure to the extreme weather and natural disasters by 2030. Alright. Oh, we have the leaderboard. But ये load क्यों नहीं हुआ? अरे यार. Okay, we're moving to some inlet based questions. We have two of them. मतलब यार इंडिया की कंडीशन उतनी खराब हो चुकी है कि जो भी अब होगा वो इंडिया को और ज़्यादा अफेक्ट करेगा इसलिए इट्स वेदर एंड क्लाइमेट चेंज एसेंशियली नो सो उससे इंडिया 2030 तक सबसे ज़्यादा अफेक्ट हो जाएगा दैट्स व्हाई आई मीन दिस इज द ओनली लॉजिक बिहाइंड इट इज फॉर एज आई एम अवेयर बट आई स्टिल look it up for you if you want me to. Yes, we're still a developing country, but the problem is that India is a big country. The demographic is very different. Also, the population, India's population is really large as well. And climate change and weather कौन कितना affect कर रहा है वो हर country को वो अलग होता है. But essentially, due to India's large size, the citizens living in India, they'll be a lot affected by climate change and weather extremes that take place. We're also surrounded by a lot of water bodies, so there's also a risk of some territory of India or some area part of India being submerged in water. So, is a follow of that. What happened to that cover guy? I don't know what happened to that cover guy. I had answered this question. Yes. Makes sort of makes sense. Okay, moving to illiterate questions. We have two of them today. And the first question is the prestigious Time World's Best Companies 2024, which includes 1,000 companies, featured Dash Indian born enterprises this year. Options 15, 21, 22, or 28. And the correct answer is option C. 22 companies, 22 India born enterprises, entrepreneurs essentially, were published in the year, were mentioned in the Times World's Best Companies 2024 rankings, if this year for it. Moving to the next question and the last question. Your question is India's Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports announced India's bid for the Dash Youth Olympics during his speech at the Olympic Council. Options 2026, 2032, 2036, or 2030. And the correct answer is option D, 2030. 2030 का जो ओलंपिक्स होने वाले हैं उसके लिए इंडिया के मिनिस्टर ने बिट लगाई हु इज इंडियाज यूनियन मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्पोर्ट्स एंड यूथ अफेयर्स. Very good, Johanna and the doctor. But with this, we come to the end of our quiz. If anybody has any questions, kindly ask or we'll end the stream. But उससे पहले, somebody tell me who was India's Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports? Doctor, yes, very good. Dr. Mansur Mandalia. He is India's Union Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs. Again, that's it. If anybody has any questions, you may ask for the end session here. All right, I think nobody has any questions. Then okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. Agree, I'll do that. I'll do that. But I think we'll be ending the stream. Thank you everyone for joining. I hope you all learned something. Good night, all the best, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.